Welcome to the last days of 2020 with mtk-on-the-mic. I am mtk-on-the-mic. Welcome to the 15th of December issue of the last days of 2020. There are only 16 days left in 2020. I am mtk-on-the-mic. It is 8:20 in California. Love you, Frisco, Cisco. Love you, yay area. It is 11:20 in New York City. And 4:20 in London. Oh, we're all just trying to catch up to you, Greenwich. I don't really have a show today, but I do think it's important to maintain some of the stratagem for these last few days of the year. Ring out the old, ring in the new. Ring happy bells across the snow. The year is going, let it go. Ring out the false, ring in the true. Ring out the grief that saps the mind. For those that here we see no more, ring out the feud of rich and poor. Ring in redress to all mankind. It's Tennyson from In Memoriam, as per Dad. And today we don't really have much of a show, so I thought we'd just throw it on, see what happens. And that's basically what's going on. So looking at the news with the Electoral College voting yesterday, the situation seems to be that the GOP, at least people who've been there a long time, who've done things the same way for a long time, which is a lot of these old politicians, guys like Mitch McConnell and the others, they now are switching gears into that, well, now I got to deal with the new people who are coming in thing. And the acceptance by them is happening. So we're looking more and more at the kind of idea that these are the people who are like, this guy's really going to make an idiot of himself like that? Let him. Talking about 45. But now we got to get back to the business of governing. Now, I don't know whether that's going to stick with DJT or not. I also don't know whether or not it's going to mean anything. I mean anything whatsoever. I don't know why I keep opening. I'm trying to open the Washington Post this morning to see what's going on in D.C. And I'm late to setting things up this morning, so. FDA review clears path for second vaccine. Moderna, that's right, the Moderna vaccine is now going to be approved. It's a 2-shot regimen, just like the Pfizer one. This is the one that's 94% effective, but it carried no serious safety concerns, and it should be less expensive, the Moderna. This is also the one that Dolly Parton contributed to. The Dolly Parton, the Moderna vaccine. Dolly Parton clears path for second vaccine, the FDA, the Moderna. Mitch McConnell congratulated Joe Biden, and Trump perpetuates baseless claims of voter fraud. That's the headline on the live updates. Chuck Schumer, the representative, the senator from New York, to Trump. Follow McConnell's lead and acknowledge Biden's victory. So now it's going to be very bizarre. The TV show that Trump has created is going to become very bizarre now to anyone who has watched American politics for at least the last 40 years, I could say, because I have. And this is just, we're in territory that's going to redefine America one way or another, right? And we have been for a while. It's not like this is this week. The fact that you all turned out finally to vote was something huge that we needed for a long, long time. But this has been going on for 40, 50 years. This downward slide that we're in. And we need to shake it all up, change it all entirely, and do the quick change. It's time for the thing that America's great at. And Joe Biden, I'm so disappointed that you're the president right now. This country needs, and you clowns are in the way and just like an anchor dragging it into the dirt. That's what you're doing. That's why so many are willing and eager to run to Trump. I mean, think about it. He agrees with calling the staid, ugly lobbyist, the swamp, what it is. So whether he's doing anything or not is irrelevant. The words he uses, Here's 8 facts from the Washington Post about the Pfizer, Moderna, and AstraZeneca vaccines. 3 vaccines. At least 2 of them I know are 2-shot vaccines. All 3 drug makers have moved at record speed. Record speed is right. No, how long have we had HIV, human immunodeficiency virus? 81, was it? That's 40 years ago next year. Is there a vaccine for HIV? Wait, where's that vaccine for HIV that we made in 82? Yeah, no. This is a major scientific achievement because the threat and explanation of that threat and the investment by science in the threat all happened independent of Trump and the GOP and everybody calling it a hoax and denying it's happening. So that part of it killed 300,000 Americans. That's what it did. Trump led us down a hole that killed 300,000 Americans for no good reason. That number could have been way smaller. And in the meantime, science did something unheard of and unprecedented, never done before in the history of. Science achieved 3, no less than 3 now approved FDA vaccines. Well, there's a lot of ways to look at that, isn't there? Has the FDA gotten more lax? Yes. We who voted for Nader told you, Ralph Nader told you that this is what was going to happen to the FDA. So we have the fact that the FDA is not your daddy's FDA. And we have the pressure of the Rona, right? So the Washington Post has put together this little simple thing. All 3 drug makers, Pfizer, Moderna, and AstraZeneca, moved at record speed. The first shots are coming out here now. What will happen next? Let's see. The FDA has emergency authority to issue temporary approvals of medical products to get them to the public more quickly during public health emergencies. Such authorizations require less data and can be done more rapidly than full approvals. I was trying to find the differences between the 3, but the article quickly changes into something else here. Anyway, that's the big, huge news on the C-19 front and the election front. Now, note that already today is Tuesday, the 15th. Yesterday and Sunday night, we were telling everyone the biggest news is that we've been hacked by Russia. Massively hacked. The Russians now have massive amounts of data because the window was wide open under Trump and it was shrinking fast before responsible people get in charge. And they just busted in there. And we have a couple of earthquakes near Morgan Hill right now. Earthquake alert. Earthquake alert. Morgan Hill, California, near the Bay Area. A pair of earthquakes this morning. 3.6 and a 3.7. There's a 3.6 and a 3.7 earthquake this morning near San Jose, Morgan Hill, near the San Joaquin Valley there. That's going on. Yeah, so all this stuff bumped the news of the hack right off the front pages, which is kind of crazy. Let's take a look at the Associated Press and see the square edge of this thing. That's what often what I'll do is I'll look at it this way, right? I open the BBC News window and I take a look at the world. You guys are at 4:30 in the afternoon there already, right? Then I'll open the Washington Post. Then I'll open the Mercury News in the Bay Area. Then I'll open the Associated Press. That's my order. Boom, 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 boom. The BBC, the Washington Post, the Bay Area Mercury News, San Jose Mercury News, and the Associated Press. And I look at them, check out the headlines, see what's going on from England to California. From my chair right here. You can do it too. I've recommended it for decades. Okay, GOP leader McConnell finally acknowledges Biden won election. Putin congratulated Biden on winning the election. Yeah, sure. And by the way, thanks for letting us sneak in the back. Look, it's nowhere. There's nothing on the front page of the AP about it. There's nothing on the. It's amazing. So I talked. One of the theories I wrote about a long time ago was the idea that. Disinformation has multiple functions, and one of them is I used to call vacuo. It's the idea of making something very important disappear, and you can do it by changing the attention of people to something else. You can do it by decreasing the volume. You can do it by putting it out once and then putting about 90 million other things out. That's it. So you can say you put it out, but the 90 million other things have already made you forget that thing was put out. So this vacuo that gets put around certain stories is how we're being guided or led by the nose through media, social media, and the so-called news companies now. The newstainment problem that we're all enduring. And you never said a word through any of it. That's the thing. You never said a word. It's all going to shit now. And you never say a word. Zinc, take zinc. We're fighting things that compromise our immune systems. Zinc. Highly recommend take zinc and get vitamin D. Vitamin D and zinc. I wrote this song back in 2018. This song's 2018. It's our theme song. The elections. If we're being honest, Bernie won Iowa. That's a fact. Kerry won in 2004. That's a fact. They're facts that have disappeared in the vacuo, right? The elections are fixed. The wars are endless. The surveillance is total. And you never say a word. You never said a word. You never said a word. It's all going to shit now. And you never say zinc. The hit single, You Never Say a Word by MTK, 2018's biggest smash hit, brought back for the election for the GOP crowd. Yeah, it doesn't matter whether I talk about fixed elections when the GOP is up in arms about it, or whether I talk about fixed elections when the DNC is up in arms about it, because yes, functionally, the two are the same to me. I have no opposition party. I have an opposition party, but it's one guy, Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is my opposition party. And we've come to this because of the insanity of the last 25, 30 years, which has to be ended. It has to be ended quickly, snapped. And Biden and Harris need to do that now. This is ridiculous. If you capitulate now, I know you're gonna. That's the problem. And you, Speaker Pelosi, you gutless woman, you're gonna reach across the aisle. Those 126 should not be seated. This is what I say we should do. I want to be very clear about this, Speaker Pelosi, I'm sorry. I don't know you. I shouldn't call you by your first name. Speaker Pelosi, I want to be very clear about this. If you dismiss quickly, oh, no, we're not going to do that. We have to get along with them. We got to move forward. That's not important now. The fact of sedition, the act of sedition is a violation of their oaths as representatives. This is a major, major thing. Signing on to the Texas petition is a major thing. It is a federal issue, state major moment. What you must do, you are obliged to do. This is not let me bounce around the ideas. I'll listen to all the groups and I'll decide what I'm going to do moment. This is a gut check moment, Speaker Pelosi. This is a gut check moment. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter that you're a woman. It doesn't matter that you're white or whatever the references and points of this culture are anymore. This is about your soul. This is about what is right and wrong in America. John Lewis just passed away. Ask yourself what he would say. This is the moment you must refuse to seat the 126. You must refuse to seat them. I'll give you a way if people are concerned about procedural issues. You open the 117th Congress by refusing to seat the 126 and making the very first order of business the creation of a select committee, the House Select Committee, to investigate the 126 unseated representatives. You can just say the House Select Committee to investigate unseated representatives for sedition. The House Select Committee to investigate unseated representatives for sedition. And you let the 412 remaining representatives vote on that. The debate will produce a bunch of things, including possibly tossing it out, including, well, we can't do that, but let's make them take their oaths again, including possibly something I've said, which is force every one of the 126, oblige them to write out clearly why what they did is not a seditious act. Force them to put on the record why me signing on with the Texas petition is not a seditious act. You do that, and then you make them all stand and take the oath again, publicly. This is something very simple to do. This is not going to start fights among the swamp that are going to somehow harm you. Look at your stature in life, Speaker Pelosi. Have the guts to do the right thing here. The 126 must not be seated. Promptly after that, a vote should be taken as to whether they should be charged. If a faster way to get that is through a House Select Committee, then you create a House Select Committee to decide that. If through your debate, you guys all agree, okay, they can be seated, the House Select Committee continues its business, that's fine too, but at least you've done something. Right now, the Democratic Party is a bad taste in the mouth of a lot of people who are desperate for this country to pick it up. Come on. You can't turn your back on progressives now. Again, over and over again. You kick us to the side the minute you get the chair. Watch what'll happen. Biden and Harris. It'll be wars, right? Back in India, that's what my cousins always said when I'd go to visit, right? They'd say, oh, well, you got the Republican out, the Democrats in? I guess we'll get ready for wars now. because the war started under Democrats. You know, Barack Obama won because he voted against the Iraq war. That's why, not because he was half black. Hillary voted for it. McCain voted for it. All the people around him voted for it. This guy didn't. And the anti-war group is the biggest group in America. You have smothered us. You have smothered us, and we're the biggest group in America by far. Military movies, military TV, constant violence, constant pushing strategy. Every TV show has to have a military. Well, he's the sergeant, he's the corporal. Well, look, this guy acted out of the order of the military. It's retarding our creativity. Speaker Pelosi, come on, you know? Give me a break. Okay, 20 minutes. Pretty good today. The last days of 2020. Ring out the old, ring in the new. Ring happy bells across the snow. The year is going, let it go. Ring out the false, ring in the true. Ring out the grief that saps the mind. For those that here we see no more. Ring out the feud of rich and poor. Ring in redress to all mankind. Ring in redress, Speaker Pelosi. Ring in redress to all mankind. Refuse to seat the 126. Please.